can't say this name. Natalie what? All right. And the winner, the Grammy goes to Natalia Lafourcade. Oh, wait. All right. Hey, how many feminists are like going nuts? So why is this cis white male doing all this Latino stuff? And the Grammy goes to Grupo Niche.
You've heard that, right? Right? Well, the phrase is pretty misleading because when people say that, they don't mean like all white people hate non-white people. They don't mean that. They don't mean like dictionary definition of racism. They mean something more like because of our nation's checkered past in regards to how it treated other races. Racism is ingrained into our culture. And in the same way that you won't be able to hear your own accent is the same way that you won't notice your own prejudices and biases. It's something like that. And
I mean, I think there's a better word to use than racist. But if I'm being completely honest, I kind of agree with half of the sentiment.
I think if done with humility, this notion could sort of mirror the Christian idea that the problem of evil is not just an external thing, but it starts from within. And evil, in this case, racism, is a problem that can only truly be solved if we all individually begin with the man in the mirror.
If done humbly, I think I might like the sentiment of it, or the potential for it. The thing is, though, we're not being humble. In fact, we're being the complete opposite of humble with this. Because what we do now is we go,
oh, can you believe that Papa John is so racist? Can you believe that in a board meeting? Please don't check my Twitter. Please don't. It's weird. It's really weird. Because a lot of people will agree with this newer description of racism. And we will view the most insignificant and minute flaws in another person as evidence of their racism. But if this is ever turned on us, and if we're ever called racist, then it's, but I didn't mean anything by it, but I'm a good person. Like, isn't that kind of inconsistent, though?
So if you're a white person who goes along with this newer description of racism, but deep down doesn't really think it applies to you as much as it does everybody else, how then do you, one of the good whites, truly distinguish yourself from the bad whites? Because I gotta tell you, you're taking a double barrel to the foot on this one here.
Because before, when racism was thought of as just a binary thing, when it was that you were or you were not racist, you could just say, no, I'm not racist. I've got black friends. And see, that response would suffice because somebody who is racist isn't just going to willingly associate with other ethnic groups, but now, this newer description of racism turns racism into a spectrum of less to more racist. And I gotta tell you, I'm not as racist as that guy isn't a very reassuring defense. You're the pot calling the kettle black. You can't condemn an actor for using the N-word, because you've said it before too.
If you want to believe that all white people are racist, fine. Yeah, that's fine. That has to include you too, though. But oddly enough, it seems like, to me, that now that everybody is racist, there's a really strong push by the good whites to redraw that line separating us and them. Here's the problem, though. Even with this newer description of racism, most people aren't really racist. So this leaves a lot of people in a tricky situation. How do you ensure that you are regarded as a good person if you're already condemned by this blanket statement, right? How do you distinguish yourself from all the racist people? Well, you've got really two options. You can either be regarded as significantly more virtuous than everybody else, which would be difficult and would take a long time, and might actually entail having to recognize your flaws and work on yourself. Or you can pick the easier option and you can tear everybody else down. Take comedian Bill Burr, for example.
All right. Hey, how many feminists are like going nuts? So why is this cis white male doing all this Latino stuff? And the Grammy goes to
Gen Z calling Bill Burr a racist. Bill Burr and his beautiful wife Nia.
While I'm not suggesting that Bill Burr is a racist, a white man having a non-white wife can sometimes be a sign of racism. So, you shouldn't assume that someone isn't racist just because they own a minority sex servant.
This kind of talk here, this doesn't strike me as somebody who really cares about equality or somebody who cares about ending racism. This right here, this is chimp behavior. We're acting like chimps. What I'm seeing here is a bunch of low-status monkeys trying to supplant a high-status monkey. This right here, this is a chimpanzee flinging his poop in the hopes that it'll stick.
So, in view of this idea, you've really got only two options. You could either reject the idea that all white people are racist and save yourself and maintain your virtue, but relinquish the ability to randomly accuse people of racism, or you can accept it as true and you can be humble and you can be forgiving of other people when they slip up because you've probably done the same things too. So, those are your options, and if you don't like them, well, in a nation where most of its citizens abhor the idea of race-based discrimination, you're going to have to be a little more creative if you want to come up with ways to feel like a moral superior.